My name is Karen Duncan, and I'm the Behavioral Health and Wellness Training Specialist here at Western Tidewater Community Services Board. Today, I want to talk to you about not feeling so jolly during the holidays. So here's the holidays. There's parties and decorations and music and gatherings. Social media doesn't stay quiet. You have people posting about how happy they are and thankful they are. And if you have kids, there's just additional level of stress decorating the tree and doing the teacher presents and making sure everything is magical. And it's a lot. The holidays are a lot, y'all. And it's a mixed bag because sometimes people adore the season and they sail all through it with feelings of happiness and joy, and they do all the things. And for some people, the holidays really bring up feelings and emotions that just aren't the brightest. And that's hard because there's this expectation that we have of ourselves and other people that you're supposed to be happy during this time and you need to be getting in the spirit of things and it's this magical time, and that there's something wrong with you if you don't embrace the season that way. The reality is it's not uncommon for people to not really feel all that joyful and happy during this season. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, about 64% of people that they had interviewed said they experienced some form of holiday blues. And this could be any number of reasons. So this is a time of year that can invoke a lot of loneliness. Maybe your family is away, or you don't have family, or you don't want to be near them because they're toxic, or worse, you have to be near them because they're toxic. Family gatherings can be hard. There could be a trauma, an anniversary of a loss. You could be grieving. There could be tension and stress. And you couple all of this with the weather in general, just the gloominess and the darkness. People can be expected to function even though they may be experiencing things like seasonal affective disorder, which is a form of mild depression that occurs when the weather gets colder and darker. If you went into the season with some mental health concerns prior, all of these things can be exacerbated by the winter months. About 10 to 20% of people going into this with depressive disorder will have some sort of seasonal affective disorder. About 25% of people, if they've been diagnosed with bipolar, can also experience seasonal affective disorder. So those are very common things that make this year just hard and not really enjoyable. So what do? Could go to bed from November to January, which may sound tempting to some people, but is kind of unrealistic and could actually make things worse. So here are some things that can help you cope during this season. Acknowledge that this time of year, for whatever reason, may bring up some stuff and some negative emotions, and that's okay because you can get through this. Trying to ignore how you're feeling sometimes can just make it worse, and ignoring can contribute to maybe developing some negative coping mechanisms that can make the problem even worse than before. Alcohol, drugs, completely isolating yourself. Sometimes pretending that these feelings don't exist can lead to a complete meltdown or a complete blow up. Try to stick to normal routines as much as possible. This can be very, very grounding, can help you feel more stable if you really kind of lean into what your typical day-to-day routine is. Try to make a to-do list to help with any holiday overwhelm, and sometimes it can be helpful to get all of that stuff out of your head and down on paper. It's also really helpful to plan ahead. Think about any events or days that have historically been maybe difficult for you in the past, or that you anticipate may be hard this year. Maybe anniversaries of a loss, for example. Create a plan for yourself for that day. This can include anything that helps you feel better, any comforting thing you can do, seeing a movie, making a dish, hanging out with friends. Planning ahead can also include a budget, deciding what it is you want to spend and stick to it, because going over budget can lead to all additional stresses in January. Here's a really big one. Embrace the idea that self-care is more than bubble baths and a glass of wine. Self-care is taking care of your mental health. It's learning to set boundaries. It's learning to say no. It's taking things step by step. It's identifying when you might need a moment alone. It's asking for help when you may feel overwhelmed. It's learning to forgive yourself if there have been things that have been on your mind. Step away when you need to. If you're a person that goes and visits family and friends during the holidays, remember, you don't have to spend every single waking minute with them. And sometimes it's a good idea to schedule some time in to have by yourself. It also makes boundaries a lot clearer. Make sure you don't forget to exercise. Go find a place to walk, even if it's only for 10 minutes. If the weather is crappy, move, do yoga, do squats, something to get your body moving and your heart pumping. Don't forget to hydrate. Dry air is completely our enemy. And pay attention to how much you're celebrating, because too much alcohol can make bad feelings worse. Consider finding a healthy coping mechanism. And there's a lot of different things that you can do out there. And one of them is journaling. Getting all of the thoughts out of your head and on paper can be very calming, can reduce anxiety, can help with depression. It helps control your symptoms and improve your mood, where you can kind of prioritize and track problems, fears, concerns, symptoms day to day. And it provides a really good opportunity for positive self-talk and identifying some negative thoughts and behaviors that you may be having. Be realistic with your expectations this season. If you're dealing with toxic family or people that you historically have needed to be around that have caused you some negative emotions, understand that no amount of wishing and wanting them to change prior to the holiday season is going to happen. Picture perfect families don't exist anyhow. So what can you do? You can set boundaries, and you can be okay with setting boundaries. And when you say no, understand that that doesn't hurt other people. It helps yourself. You're being clear about what it is that you're willing and not willing to do. And this is not to say that change isn't possible. It's just that change is not going to happen overnight just because we simply will it. Plan on not isolating. Definitely plan on reaching out. If you have a therapist, make an appointment before the holiday season and keep the appointment. Do what you know historically works during the rest of the year. Call a friend, maybe join an online forum, write cards. We also know that research has shown that giving of your own time to other people, giving back to the community, definitely can help reduce your own feelings of loneliness and isolation during this time of year. Delegate tasks, especially things that may historically have been upsetting or may have triggered negative emotions for you, or perhaps this is the first year that you have a loved one that you're missing or a loss that you're grieving. Maybe other people can help buy the tree or make the cards or shop for the presents. Whatever it is that you think may be too raw or may be a trigger for you to have some of that grief and loneliness and upsetting emotions, be okay to delegate it. Reach out for help and see if there's other people who can help you do some of the tasks that may be upsetting to you during this time. Most importantly, remember that these feelings are typically short term. The holiday season is only a few weeks. You can get through this even if you take it day by day and sometimes hour by hour. And if you're having some additional concerns in January, maybe some additional feelings of loneliness or isolation, reach out. Western Tidewater Community Services Board has numerous resources that can help you. Please take care of yourselves the rest of this holiday season, and after that, be well, my friends. Thank you.